Lytudiep welcomes you, dear friends. Love will continue and hope to come. One where love, resilience and unwavering devotion triumph over illness. This isn't just a love story. It's a journey of rebirth, strength and a heart that never gave up. Are you ready to be moved by a story that proves love truly heals? If you had to face a life-threatening illness, who would be the first to stay by your side? Do you believe that even in the darkest times, a love strong enough can hold you back from the edge? Our story begins with Tu Diep, a young woman battling cancer. Throughout her painful journey, her boyfriend never left her side. He cared for her, supported her, and most importantly, ever let go no matter how difficult it became. Can love truly grow inside the walls of a hospital? A place filled with tears and pie. And yet it was exactly there, where James gently held Tu Diep's hand and whispered a promise, when you're well, a guy, let's get married. That moment sparked their shared dream. A simple wedding, handwritten invitations, and a future built on hope. After Tu Diep's recovery, James took her to meet his family. He stood proudly and asked his parents for permission to marry the woman who had stood by him through every storm. Their response? A warm, heartfelt yes. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it to spread the love. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, so you never miss another meaningful story. Thank you so much for watching. The soft afternoon sunlight filtered through the hospital window, casting a warm glow on the bed where Tu Diep rested. In the quiet space, the rhythmic beeping of the monitor and Tu Diep steady breathing were the only sounds. Though she was still weak and her body could not move with the strength it once had, her eyes remained bright, filled with hope. And beside her, James, the man who had stood by her through it all, had become her source of strength, offering gentle words and tender gestures of care every single day. James sat beside her bed, holding her delicate hand, feeling the warmth radiating from her fragile fingers. He looked at her weary face, noticing the exhaustion etched in every line. But it was her resilience, her quiet strength, that he loved the most. He sighed softly, reaching out to brush a few stray strands of hair from her face before speaking in a tender voice, careful not to overwhelm her. Tu Diep, when you're better, we'll go and register our marriage. I want us to be a family officially. Tu Diep looked up at him, her eyes wide with surprise, but a faint smile formed on her lips. It wasn't the smile of someone who had overcome all odds, but rather the smile of someone who had weathered countless storms and still held on to the belief in love. She gently squeezed his hand, her eyes shining with a mixture of emotions. I can't believe it," she whispered. "It feels like I won't even have the chance to see that day." James bent down, softly kissing her forehead, where beads of sweat still lingered. "I've always believed you'd pull through, Tu Diep. And when you're well, a guy, we'll have a beautiful wedding. Oh, just because it's something you've always wanted, but because we deserve it." Tu Diep felt her heart light, as if the weight of all her fears and worries had been lifted. "We'll have a beautiful wedding," "Won't we, James?" she whispered. "Yes, my love." A simple but meaningful wedding. I'll be the happiest man on earth when I get to stand beside you, holding your hand and watch you walk down the aisle. James said, his eyes filled with sincerity. He closed his eyes for a moment, imagining that moment where everything around them would disappear, and it would just be him and her, surrounded by love, free from illness and pain. Tu Diep rested her head on the pillow, her eyes closing as she let herself drift into the sweet vision of what they had just talked about. "I'll wear a white wedding dress, just like I've always dreamed," she murmured. "A simple dress but light and graceful, just like us, right?" James squeezed her hand tightly, smiling. "Of course that dress will be the most beautiful one. Nothing else will compare. And I'll be standing there just waiting for you to walk in the moment I've been waiting for all my life." Tu Diep smiled, and though she was still weak, her heart was filled with a joy she had never known before. "You'll write the invitations, won't you?" "I want to write them with my own hands, sending them to the people we love." James nodded, his eyes sparkling. "I'll write them, but you'll do it with me. We'll both write every single invitation, just like how we're building our life together, step by step." Tu Diep gently held his hand, feeling the warmth of his love. "We'll write invitations for our loved ones, and each one will be a thank you to those who have always stood by us through this journey." James gazed into Tu Diep's eyes, and for a moment it felt as though time had stopped. There was only the two of them and their shared dreams. "You know, Tu Diep, our wedding won't just be a celebration. It'll be the beginning of a new chapter. Just you and me forever together." Tu Diep closed her eyes and smiled, letting her heart be filled with his promise. She knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, their love would overcome them, and one day they would write the most beautiful love story of their lives together. Day by day, Tu Diep slowly recovered under James' attentive care. She could feel her strength gradually returning, though the process was far from easy. The headaches and fatigue still came and went, but during these moments James was always by her side, gently encouraging her with kind and comforting words. He wasn't just her partner, he was a steadfast companion, a powerful source of motivation for her to keep going. One morning, as the sunlight poured softly through the hospital window, Tu Diep looked into the mirror and saw that she was much stronger. Her hair had grown back a little, not yet as long as before, but at least it was visible. It felt as though she had passed through a long road, full of challenges and pain. But now she felt she could smile at life again. James sat beside the bed, his chair positioned closely. His eyes never left Tu Diep, a proud smile on his face. "Looking at you now, I just want to say one thing. You're the strongest person I've ever known." Tu Diep squinted, pretending to frown. "You're probably exaggerating." James shook his head, his eyes sparkling. "Oh, Tu Diep, I'm serious. Over the past few days you fought against illness, endured all the pain to get closer to your dreams. I'm proud of you, and I know you'll be an amazing wife." Tu Diep felt warmth spread through her heart. She knew that no matter how weak she had been, her inner strength had never diminished, and James was the one who had helped her realize that. She took his hand, looking into his eyes, a gentle smile forming on her lips. "You've always believed in me, haven't you?" "Because I love you, Tu Diep," James replied, his gaze full of sincerity. "And because you deserve the best life. Oh, just now, but for the rest of your life." Tu Diep listened to his words, her heart swelling with emotion. She had never known love like this before. She didn't know what she had done to deserve such love, but she knew that James was the one she would spend her whole life loving and cherishing. The two of them sat in silence for a while, the only sound being the soft beating of the heart monitor, like the rhythm of their hearts beating together. Tu Diep leaned her head toward the window, where the morning sun bathed the green grass outside. She imagined a day not far in the future, when she would be strong and die, and she and James would stand hand in hand under the trees, living out the dreams they had talked about for so long. "James," Tu Diep said softly, breaking the silence, "I want our wedding to be small. Nothing too extravagant, but just enough for us to feel the love of everyone dear to us." James looked at her, his eyes sparkling with joy. "I agree. Do you know, every moment with you, whether it's here in this hospital or in the future, I feel our love. That's what matters the most. A wedding isn't about showing off. It's about proving that our love is unconditional." Tu Diep smiled gently, her heart feeling lighter. She knew that their wedding wouldn't be a grand event, but it would be the moment they officially stepped into a new life together. The moment they would begin a new chapter in their journey of love and family. James continued, his voice full of optimism. "I've been thinking about the song for our first dance. Can you imagine wearing that wedding dress? And we'll dance under the candles, and the world will fade away, just us and the sweet melody." Tu Diep imagined that scene, her heart fluttering. "I want the dance to be special, just like our love story. A gentle dance, but one that will always stay in our hearts." "Exactly," James said, holding her hand tightly. "And when we dance, there will be nothing but the love we share. That will be the moment that we'll remember forever." Tu Diep rested her head on James' shoulder, feeling his warmth and strength. She knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, their love would always be the light guiding their path. When she recovered, when they registered their marriage, that would be the beginning of a life full of promise and joy. The two of them sat in silence, letting their shared dreams of a beautiful wedding and a great love fill the air around them. This love would be the driving force for them to keep moving forward, no matter what life brought. The day Tu Diep was discharged from the hospital, she felt much stronger. Though not fully recovered, she knew she had overcome the biggest challenge of her life. As she stepped out of the hospital, she felt as though she had been reborn. All she wanted to do now was to continue living and enjoy every peaceful moment with James. James held Tu Diep's hand tightly, not wanting to let go for even a second. The feeling was special, as though the whole world had narrowed down to just the two of them. He looked at her, his eyes filled with love and pride for the girl who had fought so courageously through all the pie. "You have no idea how happy I am to see you getting better," James said, his voice warm. Tu Diep smiled, her eyes sparkling. "I feel the same way, James. Thank you for always being there for me. I know I'm not fully recovered yet, but I feel like I can start over. Then let's start together," James replied, his grip on her hand tightening. "Today, I want to do something special." Tu Diep looked at him, curious. "What is it?" "I want to take you home," James said, his eyes shining with determination. "I want to ask my parents for their blessing to marry you." Tu Diep was taken aback, a strange feeling rising in her chest. She had never expected this moment to come so soon. But standing here with James, everything felt complete, as though there was nothing else but the love between the two of them. I haven't prepared anything. Is it too soon?" James smiled, his expression gentle yet firm. "We've been through so much, Tu Diep. And there's nothing too soon when our love is sincere and lasting. I want my family to witness this moment, the most important moment of my life." Tu Diep felt her heart swell with happiness. She never imagined that, after all the hardships and pain, she would be able to experience such joy. She only needed one person to love and share her life with, and James was that person. "Then let's go." James grinned and helped Diep into the car, driving straight to his house. The two of them didn't speak much along the way, but in that silence their love seemed to fill the air, warm and full of hope. When they arrived at James' house, Tu Diep felt a bit nervous. She wasn't sure how his parents would react to this request, though they had always been kind and welcoming. But today everything felt different. She could sense the importance of this moment. James got out of the car, opened the door for Tu Diep, and they walked inside together. His parents were sitting in the living room, chatting cheerfully. When they saw James and Tu Diep, their faces lit up, as if they already knew what was coming. "You're back." James' mother smiled, getting up to greet them. "Tu Diep, so glad to see you up and about. We've all been worried about you." Tu Diep moved by their warm greeting. She could feel the care and concern from James' mother, and she felt so fortunate to be part of this family. "I'm better now, thank you, Mom," Tu Diep replied, offering a soft smile. James sat down next to his parents and looked at Tu Diep with loving eyes. "Mom, Dad, today I want to tell you something important." He paused for a moment, as if gathering his emotions. "I love Diep very much, and I want to build a future with her. I would like to ask for your permission for us to get married." James' father put down the book he was holding and looked at his son, his eyes full of warmth and pride. James' mother also smiled, looking at Dee before turning to James. "If the two of you truly love each other, and want to walk through life together, then we support you. Your mother and I are happy that you found someone you love and who can stand by you through thick and thin. Tu Diep couldn't believe her ears. Hearing these words from Jame's parents felt like the most wonderful blessing she could receive. She felt a deep sense of relief and happiness spread through her. "Thank you, Mom," Dad Tu Diep said, tears welling up in her eyes. But these were tears of joy. "I'll do everything I can to make this family happy." James embraced Tu Diep, and their eyes met in a shared understanding. All words were necessary, they both knew that. They had just taken a monumental step forward in their lives. And so, with the approval of James' parents, they officially began their new journey together, one filled with love, dreams, and hope. The simple wedding they had imagined all seemed more real than ever. Tu Diep knew that her life would always have James by her side as they faced every challenge together and built a life full of love and happiness. This story is a beautiful and touching reminder of how powerful love can be, even in the darkest moments of life. Tu Diep's journey through illness is not just a tale of survival. It's a testament to human strength, hope, and the healing power of companionship. What makes this story stand out is not just her recovery, but how love blossomed amid suffering, transforming pain into purpose. James's unwavering devotion is truly inspiring. In a world where people often walk away, when things get hard, he chose to stay, to support, and to believe in Tu Diep. His promise to marry her once she recovered wasn't just romantic, it was a powerful symbol of commitment, of choosing someone not just for their best days, but also through their worst. It reminds us that true love isn't just about flowers and sweet words, but about holding someone's hand through their darkest hour. The moment James brought Tu Diep home to meet his parents, seeking their blessing, was Tu Diep emotional. It symbolized a full circle from illness to healing, from uncertainty to a future filled with hope and unity. This story is a quiet yet profound celebration of life, love, and the strength that comes from being truly seen and supported by another person. It teaches us that even after the storm, there can be sunshine, especially when love leads the way. It is a story that can stay with you and remind you to never take love or the future for granted. Thank you for following the story.